Good evening from Florida. This is Marcia, continuing my tale of 100 days of Qigong. And, I've been telling y'all a little bit about my feet and what's been going on with those. I have peripheral artery disease, they say. And they also say that I have coronary artery disease. So I have a stent in my heart, and I have one in my iliac artery on the right side, right here. And so, I injured my foot. My dog stepped on it. Didn't realize how serious it was, how deep it was. It took a long time to heal. And then finally I got it to start healing. And the very next day, after finally I get rid of all the infection, my left foot starts to blow up like a balloon that's filled with water. And I'm like, whoa, what is going on? This was a bit, I can't say I was freaking out and worried and playing henny penny. I mean, the sky wasn't falling, but I was aware of it and it deserved my attention. So I did go to see my cardiologist's uh, physician assistant. And you know what? They didn't even know. So I think that's funny because a lot of times it's been my experience in medicine here in Florida that especially neurosurgeons seem to know it all. And to hear a medical person say humbly and honestly, I don't know, is rather refreshing. And I find that rather serendipitous because I just did a video talking about I don't know and the word maybe. So I found that interesting. Anyway, the report was good. I'm healthy. My blood pressure's good. And I know how to breathe. And she goes, it was funny because she goes, breathe for me. So I did. And she's like, wow, you know how to breathe. I said, well, I should know how to breathe. I teach Tai Chi and Qigong. And she smiled. So she's like, I really don't know. Let's get you in to see a cardiologist. So, all right, they didn't know. I don't know. And this is part of kind of the whole mystery of Qigong and working with energy. Because, all right, we don't know. But guess what? After I went and saw her yesterday, my foot, my left foot that had blown up like a balloon, and it actually kind of hurt for 2 days. And I had to massage the fluid up and out. It's normal again, whatever normal is. But the fluid edema has just about virtually disappeared. And my right foot is like, almost you would never know that that happened there. And I'll tell you though, I'm very aware of my feet now, and I'm teaching my big dog Sophie how to politely stay away from my feet. Because that really was like, wow, I can't even believe it. Like I said, if this had happened in the 20s, I would have been like, nothing. It would have been nothing. I would have been over it probably in 3 days. But that's not how it unfolded this time. But now, here it is. I'm back to normal. And I love that. I don't know what it is. I'm going to keep following the mystery. And I want to talk a little bit more about momentum with energy. A lot of people I've heard say one of the biggest things they come up against is, we start out all motivated about wanting to do something and get healthy, losing weight, or, whatever it is, a project we want to get done. And then we oftentimes lose steam. So the question becomes, how do we keep the energy engine charged? How do we keep ourselves motivated? How do we keep that flow going, like a figure 8, like a yin-yang symbol behind it? How do we do it? Well, all I know is that what I've been doing so far has been working really, really well. And also this afternoon, I actually that fast got a report back from my seeing the cardiologist, physician assistant, because I went and had some blood drawn and got my cholesterol levels checked. And I hadn't done that since January. So that was like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. And it was high still, 270, I think, total, and the breakdown, like, they wanted I don't always go by all of these numbers. People are individuals. You have to gauge for yourself what's right, what's working for you. I was told by the doctors they wanted my LDLs to be 70 or below. And I was looking at a number like twice that, 140 or something. I don't even remember now. But anyway, I got that lab result back today, and my total cholesterol is 140 now. My LDLs are 70, right where they want them. My HDLs are 60, which is like they say, whatever this means, 1.5, their range is like 59. So, but HDL is considered good cholesterol, and I don't know what any of that really means. I don't get it how they came up with this, because they've changed the numbers. So why did they change them? Obviously, it's a scale. Again, we all fall on a spectrum, and I think the trick behind a lot of this is discovering it ourselves, because that's what this energy work is all about. It's tuning in and trusting our intuition, what our own body, our own gut, our own heart, our minds are telling us, and trusting that. So whatever I've been doing in 6 months, it's amazing. Even though I had this little swell here recently, well, guess what? It's swollen everywhere in Florida right now. We're like a soaked sponge. So here's what I personally think happened is that I was working through some of this stuff and doing different kinds of energy work. And I think that I had this infection, which maybe started it, and I flushed it out. I flushed it out of my system. And now all of that edema and swelling is gone. And I have to say, I feel really good. I think Qigong is kind of like a dance. And it's a fun one because, when I was a kid, I grew up in the 60s and 70s in Miami. So there was a time when, Woodstock, of course, and then disco, and I would go dance, blow off energy. So I've always liked to move, but I never really got into the whole, this is how you do the hustle, this is how you do that. It was more like I just liked getting into my own spirit and vibe of it, which is kind of along the lines of what Qigong teaches us how to do. So back to how do we keep the energy going? How do we keep our engine charged? And I said, some days I have longer practices, some days I have shorter ones, some days I'm busy. But I'll tell you what, we can find even 2 minutes a day. 2 minutes. Preferably be 15 minutes twice a day. But hey, if we're at least plugging in a little bit, keeping the momentum going. That's what you gotta do with this stuff. And the way to do it is to keep it fun. And so that's why I love these moves, because you can pick the ones that feel good to you, that you want to do, and make them your own little dance. It feels good, and practice good breathing techniques with it. There's different ways of breathing, And there's box breathing when you inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold your breath. It's sort of like a square, but it's more rounded because there's always a pause at the top and bottom of our breath cycle, even if it's only for a nanosecond. So the trick we want to do is learn how to slow down our breathing and pay attention to exhaling that stale air and then filling up with that new fresh air and feeling that flow go through our bodies, because that's what we're doing. We're circulating fresh air, fresh blood, stimulating our muscles, relaxing parts that need it, and being mindful all at the same time while we're just spending 2 minutes having fun. So I want you to think about that. What is 2 minutes? What's 2 minutes? So I'm going to do another little video showing you a move. It's 2 minutes long, and you can decide. You know, there was a movie Samuel L. Jackson was in quite a while ago called Deep Blue Sea, and actually the movie happened to be about Alzheimer's and dementia, which now looking back I find amusing. Anyway, his father had dementia, and I'm not even sure if his father's still alive or not. But anyway, Samuel is a big time dementia advocate and Alzheimer's advocate. So he has personal experience with that journey. And in that movie where they're stuck on this thing that's imploding, the cook aboard was kind of asked, you know, what's time? And he gave a really good answer. And he said, well, depends on how you look at it. Put your hands on a hot stove in 2 minutes, feels like 2 years. Put your hands on a hot woman, 2 minutes feels like 2 seconds. So you decide. You play with your own energy. I'm going to give you what 2 minutes is, how we time it, and you decide how long and short it is, okay? Y'all have a very good evening. Love out. Circulate it all around, baby.